This video is going to be a walkthrough of the local VALE data report tool. I'm beginning this walkthrough on the local VALE data reporting guide, and this document includes the link to the local VALE data report tool as well as some general information that will be helpful for you as you're filling out the report. So this is the intro page to the survey. You can see that we have links to the different resources that are available. And if I click next, this is the beginning of the local VALE data report tool. Each page will have some instructions located in a box at the top of the page. Please make sure to read through these instructions before you fill out the information. This first section covers organization information. Organizations should be submitting a data report form for every local VALE grant or award that they have. So if your organization has multiple projects funded through local VALE in a single judicial district, you would submit one report for each of your projects. If your organization is funded through multiple judicial districts, you will submit one report for each of those judicial districts. So to start off on this page, I'm going to fill out the information about my organization. So the name and the type of organization, as well as the project title. You'll notice throughout the survey that some questions have red asterisks by them. This means that these are required questions. So you won't be able to move forward in the survey until you've responded to those questions. And the next fields are for a point of contact. This is who you would want us to contact regarding any questions about the data submission. And this individual will also receive an email copy of the response once it's submitted. And then I'll go ahead and select the judicial district that I'm submitting data for. And then question 7 asks whether you're reporting data for your project on a quarterly or a semi-annual basis. And you can choose either of these options. You can either report to us 4 times a year, so that would be every quarter, or you can choose to report just twice a year, and you'll select this semi-annual option. Whichever option you select will open up some additional questions asking you what year you're reporting for. So this is the year that you've collected the data in, as well as what reporting period and calendar month range you're reporting data for. For this example, I'm going to select quarterly, quarter 4, and October through December. And before I hit this next question, I wanted to show that there is a save option on the data report tool. So if at any point you would like to save your work and come back to it later, you can click this save button, click skip create an account, and enter your email address and press send. And this will send you a link that you can use to navigate back to your data report tool. I'm going to show you what this email looks like. So here is the email that I've received with the link to continue my form. You may want to check your spam folder if you don't see this email in your inbox, but if I press this continue form button, this will bring me back to exactly where I was in the form. And then question 11 is asking whether your program used local VALE funds to provide any direct services to victims during the reporting period. And so the reason that we include this question in the form is that we recognize that there are some programs that use local VALE funds for important activities that aren't necessarily related to directly serving victims. So an example of this is if your organization collects restitution fees. For those organizations, you can select no to this question, and it will bring you all the way to the end of the survey where you can describe activities that you used funding for and provide any feedback to us, but you won't have to fill out the demographic data pages. If I have provided direct services during the reporting period, I will say yes in question 11, and this will navigate me to the next sections of the report. This next page is asking about the number of individuals that your project served with local VALE funding during the reporting period you selected. The note on this page is really important and is about proration. And so the purpose of our report is to collect and report data for only the activities that you're completing with local VALE funds, not the program activities that your entire project is completing. And so in some situations, you can use different methods for prorating your data in order to provide information about just local VALE funds. And you can find more information about this in the data reporting guide or by reaching out to your local VALE administrator or OVP staff as well. First question here is asking how many total individuals, not including any anonymous contacts, receive services with local VALE funds from my project. So for the purposes of this form, I'm going to say my project served 45 total individuals. And then the next question is asking about anonymous contacts. So anonymous contacts are any clients where it could include clients that have called in through a hotline or maybe online chats or another type of service where you really don't have any information about the individual identity of each contact. And so you aren't able to report any demographic information about those contacts. So I'm going to say that my organization served 5 anonymous contacts during the reporting period. And then question 14 asks about the number of new individuals receiving services. So for this question, what we mean by new individuals are any clients that are receiving services with local VALE funds that are receiving services for the first time throughout the reporting cycle during this period. So because I'm reporting data for Q4, the only individuals that I would count as new are those that received services for the first time in Q4. You'll also notice that if I were to say enter in a number here that is greater than the number of total individuals, there will be a warning message that pops up at the bottom of the survey letting me know that there's an issue with what I've entered in this data. So I won't be able to move on to the next page until I have addressed this warning message and corrected it. So the issue is that I've reported serving 45 total individuals, but I put 50 new individuals, which is more than the total number. And so in order to fix this warning message, I need to come back and lower this number so it's not greater than the total number of individuals I've reported serving. The other thing to note is that only for Q1 or for period 1, all of the individuals that you serve should be counted as new individuals because they've all received services for the first time in Q1. And so you'll notice if I were to select Q1 on this first page and then come back to this question, I would need to report serving 45 new individuals because every individual that's in this total individuals question should be counted as new because it's the first reporting period of the year. So we'll move on to the next section here. This section focuses on race and ethnicity information. For each of the demographic data sections, we are asking you to report demographic data for new individuals only. So only the number of new individuals you reported serving in that reporting period. And each data section on the demographics pages begins with a question asking if you were able to track all of the relevant categories for your local VALE funded program during this period. If there are any of those categories that your system currently is not able to capture, you would select no for this question, and it'll open up some opportunities for you to describe what categories you're unable to track and an open text box for you to provide information if you would like about the limitations your project has around collecting the information. And then the next question is where I will enter in the number of individuals I've served in each category. I'm going to go back up to the important notes on this page. Here we have listed some of the specific situations where you're going to use each category. For anyone who reports multiple race or ethnicity categories, you will count them once in each of the categories they identify as. So for example, if you're serving a client that identifies both as Black and as Hispanic or Latino, you will count them once in each of those categories when you're coming up with your totals for those categories. We recognize that some systems are not currently able to count individuals in multiple categories at once. And so if your data system is not able to count individuals in each category, that's where you're going to use this last option in the table where there's a multiple race and ethnicity category row here. So while you're filling out the tables of the number of individuals served in each category, we need you to put in a number for each row. So even if you did not serve any individuals in that category, we'll ask that you enter a 0. And then the total number of of individuals that you count in this table needs to be at least as many as the number of new individuals served that you indicated on the previous section. You'll see that this 16B is auto-calculating the total, and I'm not able to edit that directly. In order to change this total number of individuals, I would need to add more individuals in the row of the table above. But the warning message here is saying that I've only reported data for a total of 35 individuals, and I indicated that I served 45 new individuals this period. So I need to come back to the table to correct that information. And then question 17 is asking you to indicate how many new individuals identified as multiple races or ethnicities. And then we'll move on to the next page. This is a very similar page to the race and ethnicity section, and this is focused on gender identity. So again, you'll have an option to select if you're able to track the different categories that are in the form. For gender identity, we have these 4 categories that you'll list individuals in. And this one is slightly different than race and ethnicity because you're going to count each individual only in one category each. The total number of individuals that you include in the table needs to exactly match the number of new individuals you indicated serving. So if I put 46 in the table, it will show me the warning message letting me know that I need to correct this so that the number equals the number of new individuals that I had served. The next section focuses on age. This one is similar to gender identity. We're only counting individuals in one category each, and it needs to total equal to the number of new individuals served. And then this next page focuses on special populations. And again, we're only asking for this information for the number of new individuals that you've provided services to, but you can count individuals in as many categories as they indicated that they were a part of. And since not everyone may be a part of a special population, for this section, there is no required number of individuals that you need to put into this table. And then this last page is asking about victimization types. This is the only section of the data report where we're asking for information about all of the individuals that you've served with local VALE funds, not just the new clients. The information that I include in this one needs to include data for all 50 of the individuals that I reported serving, including the number of anonymous contacts. And then this table lists all of the different victimization types that you may have served individuals in. If you need more information about how to categorize certain victimization types, there are some resources available in the local VALE data reporting guide that will help direct you to more definitions of these victimization types. If an individual indicated that they had multiple victimization types, you'll go ahead and count that individual once in each of the different categories of the victimization types they experience. The total number of individuals in this table needs to add up to at least the number of all individuals served that you indicated on the first page, as well as the number of anonymous contacts. And then we'll ask here how many individuals reported more than one victimization type. And then this brings us to the last page of the data reporting tool. You can describe any additional activities your organization utilizes local VALE funding for, and you can also provide us any feedback you have about the data reporting form. We really do appreciate hearing from you about what is working well for you in the form and what needs you might have for us so that we can support you as you are starting to collect this information. And then once you are done putting in all of your information, press this submit button, and this will prompt an email to be sent to the point of contact email address that you indicated in the first page of the data report tool. And it will include a PDF copy of your submission. A PDF copy of your submission will also be sent to the local VALE administrator in your judicial district so that they are aware of the individuals that have submitted forms to this tool as well.